Hey guys! So as we are now less than 1 week away from the release of the DLC, we're receiving more detailed information on the new stuff that we're going to see. So the very first thing is very fresh, and it is a video that they posted today on their Twitter account, and the link is down in the description for you guys if you want to check it out yourself. They are showing us some more details on how the ancient hunt mechanic will work. So here you see the interface, so you can see that on each item you have different runes, and some items share the same runes. Depending on the combination you put them in, you get different results. You cannot just put in like 4 weapons or something like that. You have to put in a melee weapon, a bow, an armor, and an artifact. And from those you will get different runes, and those will make up the combinations. Now you can see if you put in items that share the same runes, you can see that they will stack on each other. I'm not sure what this will give us as a benefit, but I'm pretty sure we will find out as soon as it releases. And then you see that you can invest points, like you can use enchantment points to upgrade your ancient hunt. And then we see what an ancient mob looks like. It is a much stronger version of a normal enemy as we know them. They said they have additional effects to them and they have a group of minions that is fighting with them. So it's pretty much like the Rift Guardians in Diablo 3. And we can also see how a gilded item looks like. So it has a really strong legendary glow to it and also has like a green aura around it that at least should prevent people from not seeing it. And also they're saying us that we should grab our gold on our way out, so probably the gold is exclusive to the ancient hunts. So now here on the side you can see that offering enchantment points will attract more ancient mobs, and the enchantment points will be spent once you start the mission. That is pretty interesting because many people were worried about what will happen if you spend enchantment points, because we also got a devblog that you can see here where they go into detail about the ancient hunts prior to this video. And in this devblog they also stated that items and points invested this way are permanently lost, and many people were thinking, but the more you level up, the harder it will be to get enchantment points. Like if you know, I'm level around 550 or so, and if you played this far, you know that leveling up gets increasingly harder. There are people out there with level 800, 900 or even 1000 or above, and those people spend days of grinding for a single level up to get 1 enchantment point. This is kind of unfair, and so there have been a lot of questions, and the developers replied to us from the official Discord, a post from Mans Olsen, that you don't have to spend enchantment points to play Ancient Hunts, it's optional. We saw that in this video, which is pretty nice. And another really important answer was this from Mark. Here they are going to say that this will also reduce our level again. So I'm thinking that the best way would be to clone your character and open Ancient Hunts for your friends. Maybe you can then leave with your cloned character and join in again with your main character, so you don't lose the enchantment points on your main character. I feel bad for people that spend a lot of time grinding to get to super high levels, and now they just losing it by playing the ancient hunts. At about level 100 or so, it doesn't take you too long to grind for level ups to play the ancient hunts. And I think it's a useful way to use enchantment points in the game. At least we got that cleared up because people were really worried that they have to keep leveling and leveling, and at some point they have to grind a whole week to play 1 ancient hunt. So it's good to know that this is clear now, that this is not going to happen. And here they're going to say that they will also change Apocalypse Plus. Now I won't go into total detail here, but what they are essentially doing is that they squish the 20 levels of Apocalypse Plus that we have currently into 10 levels of Apocalypse Plus. So plus 10 will be as hard as plus 20 right now. And based on that scaling, they add 15 more levels, so we will end up with Apocalypse plus 25. And they also said that they changed the way that Apocalypse Plus scales, so they're saying here that in the end they're turning it a little bit down. I'm hoping that they will rebalance it in a way that it's playable. On the bottom here they are also talking about balance changes, which includes a lot of different things. There's a whole part just talking about Dynamo, that it is now capped at 20 stacks, but they're also adding more damage to it, so that it will still be very powerful. But you can't stack it uncapped and just one-shot bosses as you're used to. But I'm still thinking that this doesn't really hurt dynamo builds. But on the same note, there have been more questions on the Discord regarding balance changes, and they were saying that they were thinking about changing the interactions between cooldowns because they don't like that having it once baked on your armor and once as an enchantment is better than having it 2 times as an enchantment. So they are considering to change that interaction to give diminishing returns as well. But in return, they would increase the effectiveness of cooldown reduction if used alone. And this is really interesting because if you look again at the Devblog, we can see that they will, with Apocalypse plus 25, they will increase the power level to 250. So we are in the game, and as you can see, I changed my items to match the new power level. We can just have a look at the damage of weapons, which is like ridiculously high, 144,000. We get like 360,000 health, and the bows, they do 180,000 damage. And also keep in mind that enchantments like Shockwave, their damage will scale with that as well. So yeah, you will get a lot of more big numbers from that, but if the enemies scale up with you, this doesn't really matter. But it is interesting when we look at artifacts, because if we look at artifacts like Boots of Swiftness, we have a 5-second cooldown but then a 4-second duration. And it is similar to the Deathcap Mushroom. We have 21 seconds duration and a 30-second cooldown. But what is interesting is the cooldown to duration ratio that we see on these items. Because if they just buff the enchantment a little bit, like to about 30% or even a little bit more, we can get away with a Wither armor only having 1 enchantment of cooldown reduction, and we can have infinite Deathcap Mushrooms, infinite Boots of Swiftness, infinite Ironhide Amulets, and infinite Ironhide Amulets. So I'm thinking that this can actually help us out pretty well. What I've done when they originally launched Apocalypse Plus is I gave myself a power level 250 Wither armor already, and I tested it out in combat. And I can tell you that this did not go really well, because mobs were already so strong that this armor alone didn't carry me through. But as long as we don't know what they're actually doing there, I won't go into any judgment of that. But you can be pretty sure that I will test the limits out pretty quickly after the update released. And the last thing I want to tell you about today is, together with the video on Twitter, they also made a new post on the official Minecraft.net page going into detail about the ancient hunts. Basically, it's a very detailed version of what we see in the video, and they're also saying here that you need to have a combined item power of at least 100 to do an ancient hunt. So for our lower power level players, you want to get up to higher power levels probably very quickly so you can play the new content. If you're still lacking behind and you don't really know how to do it, you can check out the guides I made on how you can get to the maximum power levels really fast. This should help you to get there in a couple of hours. They're also saying that we should play around with different combinations, and this is one thing that we as a community can work on together. Like, we can try out different combinations and we can share them with each other if we get something really incredible. We have to work out if the item drops are determined by that as well. Like, if you look at the screenshot over here, it looks like the ancients that we will get to see here are determined by the invested enchantment points and items that we put in. But we are not sure yet how this actually will turn out. But we definitely have to make sure to share information as good as we can with each other as soon as the event launches. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the description. There's also my Discord server. You can hop in there. There's a dedicated Minecraft Dungeons channel on there, and as soon as the update launches, we can share our combinations there. And the final thing that they're talking about in this post is the Piglin Merchant. In the last video I said that the item shown to us wasn't very special, but in the description of the merchant it said that he could trade us gilded items. This is what they are confirming here as well. I missed that the last time, to be honest here. So just, you know, the Piglin Merchant will be able to trade you gilded items. They're saying here from time to time. I'm thinking that this will turn out kind of like the luxury merchant. Every now and then you will see 1 or 2. And this is already all I have for you today. So I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!